How was your stepping down? Because your stepping down came really late in the day. People say that you stepped down the night before the elections. How was your stepping down going to affect unity in the union?
Okay, my stepping down, honestly, you see, if you watch clearly, when you have two aspirants from the private sector contesting for presidency, that borders on how we need to move this Congress forward. I felt that in order to move Congress forward, it is very, very obvious and important for me to, at this point, step down and to make sure the labor movement becomes more stronger in terms of our decision making. And I felt at that point I need to step down, and that is what I did. And I did the step down before the Congress, so that it doesn't look as if you're doing it outside the Congress, and the Congress cannot decide. And when I did that stepping down, I therefore again declared that I was going to vie for the deputy presidency position.
Did you ask your supporters, just a moment, did you ask your supporters to support a particular candidate after you stepped down?
No. Like no particular candidate asked me to step down. If at all, in terms of the mediation and reconciliation processes, the both of us, the three of us that were sparing, were even talking to ourselves to step down for each other, if need be, if we can do that. No, but again, I want to say, I have to break the ice in terms of saying no. If you look at the whole situation, who wants to come out voting to say, let me step down for the other person? Everybody, we're all talking to ourselves. Please, can you step down for me? This one was saying, can you step down for me? Can we move this Congress forward? And nobody was ready to do that stepping down.
No, my point is, if you agreed to step down, you definitely, I mean, if this negotiation was going on amongst the three of you, oftentimes what happens is that you tell your supporters, I have stepped down, this is the person I am supporting, this is the candidate I'm throwing my weight behind. Did you have such a situation that particular night?
Yeah, I have to do that because, you see, I want to say the principles of the Congress and the foundations of Congress. It's very unfortunate that we find ourselves where we are today.
So who was the candidate you were supporting?
There's one clear issue I want to mention here clearly. It's unfortunate that, like you rightly mentioned, is the constitution clear in terms of who and who are actually qualified to contest? The question is here. Are there rules, even if they are not written? Are there rules? Are there principles of Congress? The answer is yes. Are there conventional practices in Congress? The answer is also yes. But again, the situation where an individual having served his own tenure of leadership in his union and is serving like the Nigerian leadership style or the African leadership style for about 15 years as a president or 13 years as the president of his union, does he have those qualifications and rights to still start to contest as the president of Congress and to lead the Nigerian Labour Congress? The answer is no. But I felt at that point that we take a decision to move Congress forward, which Aremu also knows very, very well, that we cannot afford to mortgage the future of Nigerian workers. We cannot afford to trade or to sell.
Mr. Jose, I'm sorry to interrupt your train of thought because we don't have a lot of time, but I need to know, who did you throw your weight behind after you stepped down?
Of course, when I stepped down, I threw my weight on Komila Jero to be the next president of Congress.
Why did you feel the need to still contest for deputy presidency, knowing that it was going to be a bit difficult to produce ballot papers at that short notice?
No. It wasn't going to be that difficult to produce ballot papers because, like we were told by the Credential Committee, the printer is on standby. And in fact, if you recall what really happened at that point, we were asked to wait for about 2 hours for them to get these issues, the Credential Committee to get these issues sorted out. And the Congress in section waited for about 2 hours plus. And for us to be told, yes, they are now ready for voting to commence. And so it wasn't like it was so difficult because they also said they were ready to go ahead with the election. They were ready to print the ballot papers as expected. In fact, from what we were told, all aspirants who submitted their forms, names were all in the system of the printer. And then they also know fully what our Congress has, because there were complaints that were made to the Credential Committees. And the Credential Committee clearly stated that they don't have the powers to take decisions over those who complain, except the Congress, and that the matter should be taken to the Congress. And I believe that the Credential Committee were very much ready in terms of well prepared for the election. But I think something went wrong in a situation where we need to know who and who are those who who handled the ballot papers, who were those who were clipping the ballot papers together, and by virtue of that, giving some individuals more than one ballot papers in a booklet.
Okay, so that means that when he now said he was going to contest, you were no longer unopposed. He contests against you.
Yeah, but don't forget, I've told you we didn't even participate because we were opposed to that process. But I don't think we should return back because we are not even at the session, on the voting session. Because on the matter of principle, I mean, if labor leaders cannot stand for anything, then it will fall for anything, including corruption.
Is it true that the matter, after the Credential Committee looks at it, the Congress can clear people?
Wait, that is subject to a lot of interpretation. The spirit of the Constitution is clear. Section 29 of our Constitution is clear about the rules guiding election. That there will be a Credential Committee with a deadline, already specified in the Constitution. Within 24 hours, it will check all the nominations, authenticate them, which means you can qualify and disqualify, and get it published within 48 hours. And they did that, and we stand by that rule. And that's the rule that has been tested over the years for the past 10 delegate conference. But what I want to say...
So the Congress cannot clear?
Yeah, I mean, no, let me land. But that's academic now, because the Congress went ahead to clear. Am I communicating? The Congress went ahead to clear.
He wants to cite the Constitution before you go. Just hold on. What part are you citing?
Article 6.
Article 34 of the Constitution.
Yes.
What does it say?
It said clearly that that the Congress in sections will also receive all complaints from aspirants as well, and taking decisions at the Congress in a voice vote or by reason of hand or in a secret ballot. And so what was done by virtue of that section of it also said clearly that if I bring my case as an aspirant and I made a complaint to the Congress, that the Congress in section has the power to discuss on these issues of my complaint, either by me being disqualified or either by me having wanting to aspire for any position. The Congress in section have that power to put and then either vote by secret ballot or by reason of hand or by voice vote. And that was what really happened.
No, I think we are not engaging in any disagreement now with Comrade Achize. I don't think that's the time for that now. The bottom line is very simple, that it's academic now because they reopened nomination and it came in. And of course, some of the poor players written are those challenges. On the spot, the moment you are doing ballot papers, with all the mess that goes into it, that's not displayed in the Constitution.
One also has to ask,
Yeah.
Are you afraid of a fair contest?
No.
Regardless of whatever time he changes his mind, if at the end of the day we're going into the contest and they were able to print ballot papers, say, in that short notice, would you have said that, this is about breaking of rules, or
some of us came
it's about
from
a fair contest?
Some of us came from tradition of contest. As a matter of fact, until late, I'm the Vice President of Nigeria Labour Congress. It was 2 elections. First time, second time, we contested. And when we were applying, we did not say we were applying to be unopposed. We said we applied to contest. Then the rule books of the NLC say, no, the rule books of the NLC now say, however, you wanted to contest, but you are declared unopposed. I'm just telling you the distortion. We didn't ask to be unopposed, but the rules of NLC say you are hereby unopposed.
All right, gentlemen, tell us, what is the next step?
Let me round up. The next step, I think, is the way forward. And for me and Achize, we're on the same page with that. Now, this conference is largely in 3 parts. Opening ceremony, the business session. Opening ceremony, you watch it, very colorful, fantastic. We made a lot of impact. 4,000 delegates. We're the largest labor center in Africa. With all our fraternal people, ILO was there, ICFTU, the largest labor center in the world, 175 million people, they were there. Now, we had the business session dealing with motions about the world of work, wages, benefit. Fantastic, we also saw. Now, the crisis we had has to do with the election. Those 2 other sessions were successful because we followed due process, due diligence, based on our Constitution.
What's your
view?
The
way forward is that we are meeting, and I think Achize says so. We had a very good meeting last week with our veterans, administrative council meeting, and everybody says, no, what has happened is an embarrassment to all of us. It's a shame. Nigeria Labour Congress cannot talk of free and fair election where we can't do our own. We must return back to our rules. And we're meeting on Wednesday to look at what the options are. And I think our NEC meeting will resolve all these issues. I have no doubt in my mind that we can move to the next level to conclude the elections.
Let me get your final comments before you go, both of you. Is it true that chieftains of political parties are battling to see how they could get the Labour on their side for these elections? And that's what's causing this skirmish between
far
the
from it. Don't forget that this is not the first time we are doing this election. Since the return to democracy, NLC election always comes up on the eve of federal election. 1999, our election took place, which produced camaraderie and social on the eve of election. You know, and it has only been a benchmark. In fact, it's a standard for the national election. So what we are saying is that we know our delegates. From all the analysis we are making here, they are all self-inflated challenges. And it's not that anybody wants to manipulate.
Go ahead. What's your view on that question?
We don't accept anybody to manipulate us.
Well, my view, like you earlier, I don't think any political party is having any influence in the Nigerian Labour Congress election.
That's fine.
Or even if at the opening ceremony we found some of the politicians or aspirants of the national election coming to campaign at the conference center, which is abnormal. But even at that, Congress remains independent on our own.
Yep.
But like I heard it is not like I said clearly, it is not mandatory or constitutional that Congress elections must hold before the national election. Where there are issues that need to be addressed, I think we need to address those issues. And once they are addressed, if they can be addressed before the national election, better. If they cannot be addressed before the national election, means the processes will be put in place. That will also definitely bring a free and fair election in the Nigerian Labour Congress. For now, like you said clearly, we're having a meeting on Wednesday, a NEC meeting where we're going to look at all issues, address them. I hope that we're going to come out successfully in the NEC meeting to move the Nigerian Labour Congress.
All right. Thank you for speaking with us.
I'm also very optimistic that we don't need to externalize this conference. Just like because one candidate was saying one party was, I don't think we should externalize. We're independent, and I agree with Achize that we will find a way out of this problem independently. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on. Aremu is the Vice President of NLC. Are you still, all positions have been suspended now, haven't they?
No, there's no tenure in legislation yet.
Okay.
Don't forget that
so in the meantime, you're a candidate?
Our tenure actually expires on the 3rd of March or so. I mean, that's when we were sworn in. Okay. But technically speaking, I can be referred to as former president. I mean, former vice president. Just like my...
We'll be back after this break. Join us again.